Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the latest episode of Over and Out. Surrey end day 2 of this county championship fixture, 181 for 1, leading Warwickshire by 179. Warwickshire resumed the day 132 for 4. In the end, they were bowled out to 248, a lead of 2. At the time the game was in the balance, the day ends with Surrey very much on top. Cam, how did you see day 2?
I think it's pretty much a perfect day for Surrey. There was a chance that Warwickshire were going to work their way back into this game with Will Young still at the crease when the morning started. They needed early wickets, which they got through Gus Atkinson. The only potential slight room for improvement was a bit of a 10th wicket partnership from Warwickshire, which got them up to parity or a 2-run lead. But from that point on, they were perfect. 180 for 1 at the close of play. Ollie Pope, England player, Dom Sibley, former England player, possibly current England player, at the crease, well set. It's a good day for Surrey.
Yeah, Will Young was very difficult to dislodge. He batted really nicely. First came in on the first afternoon, had to withstand that brilliant spell from Tom Laws at one point. Warwickshire 47 for 4, and in the end they get to about parity, so he did really well. But for Surrey, Gus Atkinson was brilliant today. It took a while to build into the innings, but this morning he bowled with a rhythm that you see with him when he's at his best. It reminded me of him bowling here actually against India about a month or so ago in the Test match.
He's such a kind of fun player to watch for all these reasons. Yesterday wasn't his greatest day of cricket. Today there was that kind of zip, that pace, that excitement that comes with him at his absolute best. And when they needed wickets, when Surrey needed to kind of rip through that Warwickshire middle and lower order, he provided 3 wickets for him. His figures aren't going to look amazing, they're not going to look spectacular like he's had the best day of his career, but he provided the crucial interventions for Surrey today. He put Surrey in basically the box seat. I know it seems a bit weird to say that. Two teams have basically scored exactly the same number of runs, but Surrey's runs were kind of worth more because they had to bat yesterday when it was harder to bat than it was today. So by coming out of the kind of after the first innings at level pegging, it's a bit like kind of drawing 0-0 at home in the Champions League. You go, well, if you go away from home and get 1 goal, that's worth more. That's kind of where Surrey are at in this match. Yeah,
I thought the first half an hour or so was a good demonstration of stuff that coaches talk about a lot. Set the tone and we go from there. That's exactly what not only Atkinson did, but Dan Moore as well, who's quite luckless in that opening spell. It was one of those days where we see it quite a lot, and we've seen it over the last few years when Surrey have had so much success that day 1 can actually be pretty even, but it's over days 2 and 3 that they pull clear, and that's what we saw today. And they were absolutely brilliant. What brought you joy today?
What brought me joy today? I've just remembered Dan Moore came on, I reckon he was 60 overs old, and just started getting it to hoop out of nowhere. And I found it such an enjoyable spell of bowling to watch. He's such a master of his craft, and I find it really fascinating and fun watching him at a time where the whole sport has gone towards the bobble ball, which basically relies on something that's unpredictable. You're going to land the ball on the lane, it might seem away, it might seem in, it might stay straight, and the batter can't do anything about that because the bowler doesn't know what's happening. Dan Moore sets up his stall so early, he goes, I'm going to bowl a big outswing to you, try not to nick it, and it was just so much fun to watch Eve at a time when I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, what was your moment of the day?
Moment of the day, I'm going to go from just complimenting the away swingers and say it's nice not to just see wobble seams everywhere. Gus Atkinson's delivery to get Ed Barnard completely unplayable, and Barnard was batting so well. He kind of changed the momentum of Warwickshire's innings yesterday evening. He got to his half century this morning, and then Atkinson got this ball to kind of like dart off the length, kind of back of the length, nick him off through to Ben Folkes. It was a brilliant bit of international bowling.
Word on how Surrey batted. 3 class players, all of them scored half centuries. Rory Burns and Ollie Pope scoring their second in the game. Dom Sibley's obviously former player in Division 1 this year, continuing his fine form. We talk a lot about how important it is to win the toss here and bowl first. That's what everyone does. But actually, I think Surrey batting when they have been batting in this game won't mind that so much. And we saw in the second half today they really made the most of those conditions because they were brilliant.
They were just so calm. Everyone kind of batted in the way they're known to bat. Kind of Sibley's kind of knuckled down, struck at around 40. Ollie Pope was at his kind of fluent best. He got 6 in there in the midst of it as well. Warwickshire had to turn to spin at one point for a few overs. They had Yates and Mousley, where yes, it was probably a tactical decision because the pitch had become a little bit more lifeless or easier to play on. Those 5 seamers, which were a strength for both Surrey and Warwickshire, became a bit of a kind of weakness in just having the same thing approaching the batters over and over again. Surrey just took it all within their stride. Their biggest opponent at the moment that they have to be aware of is the weather. We know that there's some rain around, and when having to take 10 wickets to win this match, that could be a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. Surrey ahead at the moment, but as Cam says, a bit of weather around tomorrow, and also the context of second place Nottinghamshire going very well up at New Road this week so far. That's everything from me and Cam. Over and out.